people, and they betrayed those who they dragged into this affair, who they pushed to shoot at their comrades. It is this fratricide that the neo-Nazis in Kiev and their Western masters wanted to see, and the various traitors as well. They wanted to see Russian soldiers kill each other. They wanted to see Russian servicemen and civilians die, and ultimately to see Russia defeated, and the Russian society split apart and in a bloodbath. They didn't want to take responsibility for failures in the war and with the so-called counteroffensive, but they miscounted. The law enforcement authorities and the military were loyal to their oath and to their people and to their duty. The courage and sacrifice of the pilots who died prevented a tragedy on a national scale. At the same time, we know that most soldiers and commanders of the Wagner group are also patriots of Russia, loyal to their state. They proved this with their courage in combat, liberating the Donbass and Novorossiya. They were used blindly. They were thrown against their comrades with whom they fought shoulder to shoulder for its future. So, since the very beginning, I gave orders to prevent bloodshed, and we needed time for that, including to give an opportunity to those who realize they've made a mistake to rethink their decision, to realize that they're putting society at risk, and that this is leading to destructive consequences as a result of this reckless affair. I thank the soldiers and commanders of the Wagner Group who made the only correct decision and refused to engage in the fratricide and who stopped at the last line. Today, you have an opportunity to continue your service to Russia by signing a contract with the Ministry of Defense or other authorities, or go back to your families. Those who wish may go to Belarus. The promise I gave will be fulfilled. I repeat, the choice is up to you. But I'm sure that this will be a choice of Russia's warriors who realize their tragic mistake. I'm grateful to President of Belarus, Alexander Lukashenko, for his efforts and his contribution to the peaceful resolution of the situation. But I repeat, it is the patriotic spirit of people, the consolidation of the entire Russian society, that played the deciding role in these days. This support allowed us to overcome this hard challenge. Thank you for this. I'm grateful.
Okay, we've just been listening in to the Russian President Vladimir Putin with his latest statement. He launched a scathing attack on the mutiny attempt, and he also explained why he acted with restraint towards the Wagner group, citing their bravery on the battlefield. He talked about patriotism amongst the Russian people. We're going to be taking you, giving you some more latest broadcasts later in the programme. Stay with us for that. Well, moving on now, the media's position regarding the Wagner group and its actions varied.
This is so underwhelming. What the fuck? I thought the speech would be like, you know, more and more interesting. And this is so short, and this is underwhelming. Yeah. So so let's we can chit chat a bit. And then maybe I will do the recording live on the. Do a live recording about. Should I do this instead? Yeah. So you guys can see, you know. Yeah. So also live recording of this of the operational report, because I still want to do the operational report. It was a false coup d'etat, real coup d'etat theater. Yeah, it's a bit underwhelming. I thought there would be like more things. but it's like, you know, that's basically, you know, if you look at RT's coverage, I just I was waiting for the speech. I watched a little bit. They pretty much condemn Wagner all the time, which means that the Russian government is actually condemning Wagner. So hi everyone. Hi Charles. Wait, let me open all. Hi Charles. Hi Chad. Dick. Hi PTW. Hi First. Hi Mr. Deep. Hi AZ Infidel. Hi Letney. Honig. Hi Diversity is our strength. Latney. Jack. I like apples. Soviet Niet. Internet Explorer, Ugly Toad, Hi No One, Hi Neckbeard Admiral, Hi Lemoko Leon, Hi Kira, Hi The Best and the Worst, Hi BTW6301, Hi Sega Cole, Robert, T72, Homebound, John, Random. I think that is, I don't know how to read that. I forgot to read the Russian name. The Russian name. Hi Yahudi, hi T72 again, hi Cool Channel. Yeah, so this is really nothing much because I was informed by Mazarin Geopolitics about this speech. I thought, yeah, it's gonna be something major. End up is not really much, but it is no, it is a repeat of the condemnation of Wagner. And so I'm waiting for the speech to drop in the full transcript. So, and hi Jen, hi Ernesto, hi Rati, hi MM. Yeah, so yeah, a little underwhelming if you ask me. Yeah, I thought there will be more. I thought they will talk more about the Wagner and stuff, but it didn't really, you know, say much. It basically asked them to kind of like to kind of admit that they are wrong, you know, kind of thing, rather than yeah, it's a bit different. And I'm not, people say that this theater, you know, like, you know, the entire mutiny is fake and whatnot, but this is not my position. My position is that the mutiny is real. The coup d'etat is real, but it failed. It failed so badly that Prigozhin have to give up. So if you have watched the SITREP, you probably will have known that the that Remelin 21 actually reported that half of the Wagner forces actually refused to take part in the mutiny. So, and then another 8,000 after they were in the operation decided to, you know, give up. Another 8,000 stayed up to here and no further during the campaign because they realized what they had started. So if he said that he got 25k, let's pull out the calculator. So if you have 25,000 and then half of them is gone, and then another 8,000 suddenly realized that they screwed it up, they shouldn't be there, you're only left with 4,500. And this is actually the number that was circulating around pro-Russian sources, saying that there's around 4,000 troops that was actually rolling up the highway. So it's actually not a lot. And Putin in his speech just now say that it will be crushed anyway. He said that the coup attempt will be crushed anyway, and this is true. And the lack of Russian units, you know, especially, you know, Prigozhin is trying to appeal to the lower rank soldiers. The lack of any units, in fact, that no units actually turn over to the Wagner side at all. Like, basically there's no insurrection from any units, any military units, from the ground, from the people. The population did not, like, even if you talk about the Rostov, in Rostov, Rostov-on-Don, some of the population came out to support. But if you look at the number of people that is actually at the Wagner's position, it's actually not a lot. We are talking about like 100, 200, 300, hardly 500. If you look at Patrick Lancaster's coverage, it's actually there's people, but it's not a lot, given that this is actually a big city. The number of people that is actually out there, to show their support for Wagner is actually not that much. There is support, but it's not like, flooding the street, kind of like 10-20,000 people. So there's no resistance from the armed forces of Russia, because who wants to die? And nobody knows what is happening. If you are in the military, you don't read the news. Like that's just how it is. So, and those that at the border, previously I've reported that in the border region, 180 of the soldiers that was manning this checkpoint, they actually refused to intervene. But this is the words coming from the Wagner Telegram channel. The more likely is that 180 don't want to suicide. You don't fight with a force that you're not meant to fight, because the Wagner forces have armored vehicles and whatnot. So these 180 basically just gave up. They just don't fight at all. But they are going to get it. I think they're probably going to be some court-martial, some military court for this 180 that did not do their job. But they're probably going to be let off, because it will be a bit crazy to ask them to fight against a better armed and better trained troops. And there is airstrikes as well. According to statements coming out from I think Prigozhin, I think 300 Wagner forces was killed by airstrikes, if I didn't remember wrongly reading that. I forgot where I read it, so I have to find it again. Is it on Riba? Yeah, I can't remember exactly where. So yeah, so the airstrikes actually are real. Wagner forces are killed, and some Wagner forces are killed, which is why Prigozhin used that as a reasoning to shoot back and fire back at the Russian aircraft. But of course, that was questionable as well. I wonder, is it from Riba that I read there? Okay, this is Ryba's statement. So Prigozhin's new statement, this is according to Ryba, not Fisherman, Ryba. They say that the former reason is the intrigues. Is this basically the rumor that they will be disbanded, and so they decided to march to protest. So they say that they stopped a little more than 200 kilometers from Moscow, and the length of the drive it's not a march, it's just a drive. It's 780 kilometers, which is clearly no military will be positioned in that kind of position. So he said that blood was ready to be shed. The PMC stopped. And so Prigozhin also did not deny the fact that there is retaliatory strikes on the aircraft of the MOD, and he explained that this is self-defense. He said, so not 300, it's 30 Wagner troops was killed. And Prigozhin said that Lukashenko proposed a solution that the PMC will remain under Belarusian jurisdiction. So basically Wagner is going to migrate to Belarus in a way. And Prigozhin also want to justify the march, saying that the way how they managed to travel so far, shows that there's problems within the Russian armed forces and the law enforcement. And they say that if the Wagner was at the beginning of the special military operation, that means they were deployed right at the beginning, things would be different. And he said that there's a masterclass, and everybody supported it, and say everyone is just bigger than them, which is kind of like very egoistical, because I think they wouldn't have been able to do much if the Russian forces did not give them tanks, did not give them artillery support, ammunition, so it's a bit too much. It's like he's trying to take all the credits, which is not accurate. So this is the statement. So there is confirmation that 30 Wagner troops was killed by airstrikes. So that's why I say I don't believe in the theory that this is fake. People like to overthink. Like people say that this Wagner mutiny is CIA backed. I also don't believe. I think it's nonsensical. Because if you stand from the point of view from the lower end, if you are like a commander, like for example, Prigozhin is overseeing a brigade, and at the brigade level, you don't understand what's happening over at the divisional or the army level, or the army group level for that matter. So what you think is injustice and what you think is don't make sense is actually beyond your pay grade. So Prigozhin is just overstepping his line. He's out of line, and he's caused unnecessary death and destruction, which is kind of silly. So how are you guys? Oh, I'm reading. Putin say he did not order it. Did he? Where do you get the source? Since when Putin say something like this? Where is your source about Putin actually say anything? Putin didn't say anything until this speech. This is like the second speech. The first was during while the mutiny is happening, and this is the second speech. The Putin never say anything else. Yeah, 13 airmen. So according to the information that I get from Riba, they say that 7 aircraft was lost, and a preliminary of 13 airmen was killed. So 13 pilots is not accurate. Not the accurate term. It's airmen, because some of them are not actually pilots. It's not up to did Putin confirm dead pilots? No, it's not Putin's job. This is Russian MOD's job. So the Russian MOD will come out with these statements, and so far I haven't seen such statements from the Russian Defense Ministry. Let me check. No, the Russian MOD have not come out with any statement, because there is concern as well. I think Russian MOD also don't want to tarnish Wagner's name, but this seems to be going against what Putin was planning to do, and Putin don't really like this, and so I think this is what this is the situation that actually that is happening right now. I think I don't really believe that there's a major conspiracy or whatnot about this. So yeah, so yeah, I was expecting some even more bigger speech than this, but I'm sorry, this is an unnecessary live stream. I didn't expect this to happen. Yeah, expecting more. According to Mandarin Geopolitics, he said that there's going to be also a Belarusian statement by Lukashenko. I wonder if the RT is going to show, which doesn't look like it. Live, they are just doing documentaries. Yeah, it's interesting how they write Russia and former Soviet Union. It's like they don't have a better name for it. Okay, I think this is where is this? They can either sign a contract, return home, or move to Belarus. Okay. So there is this I think this is the statement. Timing is wrong. Don't know when this came out. Now the choice for Wagner is either they sign a contract with the Russian Defense Ministry, that means you join the regular armed forces, the regular Russian military, or you can join other security agencies, or they can go home, give up, throw in the towel, or they can move to Belarus. So which means Wagner PMC is now going to move to Belarus, and rumors are saying that Poland is getting very uncomfortable that Prigozhin and Wagner is going to migrate to Belarus. And it's very interesting how this happens. There is a good tweet. There's a good tweet by a pro-Ukrainian account. He said that imagine a private army march on Washington, and then march on Washington, and then suddenly Mexico president make a call to the leader of this mercenary group, and then they make a deal with the approval of the US president for the entire company, the mercenary group, to move to Mexico, and then USA will totally ignore all the pilots and planes and helicopters that got shot down. Yeah, it's kind of ridiculous how this turned out. It just don't make sense. But yeah, but Belarus ultimately is still a satellite state of sorts to Russia, so we can expect that Wagner to continue to operate in the national interest of perhaps Russia and Belarus. Or it could be a case where Putin will still continue to be in close contact with Prigozhin and make sure that Wagner continue to operate on the interest of Russia, but maybe this is the way out, because Putin cannot allow Gerasimov and Shoigu to be kicked out. The reason you have to understand that Russia is a massive country. In a massive country, you have no choice, but you need bureaucracy. Bureaucracy is the only way to operate such a big country. Without rules and systems and all these organizations, it's extremely difficult. And for someone like Putin, he need to have these most trusted people by his side to help him take care, because Putin is just one person. He cannot really actually look at every single thing. So clearly Shoigu is someone that he trusts. Clearly Prigozhin is someone that he used to trust. Gerasimov definitely is someone that he trusts. So to change away people that he trusts is stupidity. And it could be just some kind of like a internal gang fight of sort, mafia fight. So it's like, in the gang you have the mafia boss, and then he got all his lieutenant, and then now the lieutenants are fighting each other. And then Prigozhin is this new lieutenant that came up in the past 10 years that this mafia boss is really put a lot of trust in him. So, and then now that because he did a lot of good work, he wiped out some rival gangs, and he won some new districts to sell their drugs, and now he's very, very pumped up, and he feel like he should have a bigger role, or he should change. He feel like the mafia boss should change away the other two lieutenants, because the other two lieutenants is not good enough in his eyes. And but the mafia boss decided that no, you have overstepped the line. So it could be something like this. You understand in a different angle, it does make sense. So do you heard about the Wagner camp being shelled before? Yes, that is the reason Wagner used to start the march. He said that because they say that the camp got hit by a missile strike, and they say that the missile strike came from a different opposite direction, came from the rear, and they feel like this is actually a missile strike by the Russian Defense Ministry. Maybe not. It could be possible, but the thing is, it's very unlikely, because you can't missile strike the whole Wagner out of existence, which means you have to fight them. to eliminate the whole of Wagner private military contractors, and it's going to be really hard. You know, so you don't want your enemy to be fighting in the rear, so you want the front line, then you know how to fight. Like any talk about how the Wagner actually have it so easy within Russia, they can travel without anyone deal with them. It's actually not easy. Even if you see that if there's a riot happens, and then you expect that the police sending the SWAT or the riot control teams, the police to go down and control, they don't happen instantly. And not to mention that these protesters can travel at 60 kilometers, 80 kilometers an hour along the road, heavily armed with surface to air missile. How are you going to stop this group? You have to stop it at somewhere that you have time to dig in, and that's exactly what they did. The digging in is actually quite serious. They actually dug a hole on the highway, on the outskirts of Moscow. They literally dug a hole. Then they have troops deployed. So they send in the airstrike, which is the correct thing to do, to show that the Russian Defense Ministry is not going to play games. They're going to fight them. And this is a signal to Wagner that if you want to continue to move on to Moscow, we will fight you. And this is exactly what had happened. And Wagner knows that they cannot win such a battle, so they left. So unacceptable. Well, I come quite to terms to the reality on the ground. Which reality? Please type. What is the reality on the ground? So yeah, ultimately Wagner is effective because there was Russian MOD support. To be honest, the Russian MOD provided them with tanks, IFVs, ammunition, fuel, artillery, air support, an air base for them to operate their planes and helicopters. This Wagner cannot operate independently without the support. If you are talking about a high intensity war situation like the Ukraine war, they can operate at a low intensity, like fighting terrorists and rebel groups in Africa and whatnot. But to claim the kind of level of effectiveness in Ukraine war is a bit much. Not to mention that, how are you going to get prisoners to join Wagner? That's also because the Russian government allows you to do it. Who can actually give you this kind of permission? So it's also because the Russian government gave Wagner the additional support to do it. It doesn't drop down from the sky. Wagner is just a private company. They do not have the kind of power to just go into a prison and just take any people they want. And then to after 6 months allow all the crimes that the prisoner have committed to be waived off. No such thing. It's only if the government supports. So the Wagner success has a lot to do with governmental support. And now which is why I think Putin is very unhappy with this. Businessman that protects his business. Yeah, no matter how big is your business, you cannot go against the state. That's just how it is. So not to mention it's Russia. What else? Russians only trust Shoigu as well, because he's the only one BSing him. What else? Yeah. So Russian looks hacking. Yeah, another funny thing is United States, on the United States side, they also seems to overplayed their hands a bit. They was the US side, they were like saying that they already know that this coup is gonna happen. And it's weird, when they say that, because how could you possibly know this kind of thing? And maybe they actually don't know, but they just say that they know so that they look better, so that they look like they are in control, they know what's happening, and but actually maybe they do not know. So that's, yeah, why not consider a stage of fake coup? I considered, but the thing is, in the end, it doesn't look that much like it. It could possibly it could be possible, but the thing is, what I think is based also, some of the pro-Russian sources are saying as well, the Russian MOD and the government already know this mutiny is going to happen. The problem is that you cannot stop it before it happened, because Wagner is very, very popular within Russia, like very popular. Prigozhin is like a superstar, very popular. So you cannot end the mutiny before it starts. You have to let them commit a crime. Then you can actually have the evidence to throw it in their face and say that you committed a crime, and then you can actually shut down the Wagner group or arrest the people or whatnot. So that's why it looks like it looks like it's planned. It looks like they are in cahoot. But you have to understand that from the Russian government's position, they cannot do anything until the Wagner group decide to do anything. And this is also why probably you see that there is not much military resistance on the ground. And the police are not stopping them. No one is stopping them. They allow the Wagner group to travel. But when they are on the highway where there is lesser civilians, that's where the airstrike started to come on them. And that's probably the best thing they can do. And then build up the defenses on the outskirts of Moscow and do the battle there. So yeah, not true. The Vox say that Wagner. You argue that Wagner is very popular. Depending on who you ask. Well, I'm definitely you will be more correct because you are Russian. I'm not. For me, based on the people I talk to, it seems like Wagner is very, very popular. Yeah, too much casualties for a fake coup. I agree. And not to mention, three of the Mi-8 helicopters are electronic warfare helicopters. These helicopters actually are quite expensive because of the electronic warfare systems that they have installed. It's probably cheaper to lose combat helicopters, actually, at least for a Mi-8 version. I think this is... Yeah, this is Russian, so I cannot understand Russian. I'll probably wait for a subtitled version. And let's see if RT have updated their speech. Yeah, this address will determine the fate of Russia. It's like end up it wasn't even that big. Oh my freaking god! Maybe they changed the script, halfway through. But I'm really interested in your assessment on where this war is heading in the long run. Okay, so I didn't see this question just now. I don't know how to read this name. I forgot. Oskondra. Yeah, I forgot the alphabets already. Yeah. Okay. In the long run, Russia is gonna win this war, like without a doubt. The West is not in the right position to power the Ukrainian military. In a different time, perhaps, where maybe the Western economy is much more stronger. They have still certain level of colonialism. They have much more control over the geopolitics, much more control over supply chains, and maybe in a world where China is actually not the is not the factory of the world. Maybe in that world, like maybe it's a 30 years ago kind of world, maybe Russia's chance to have absolute victory over Ukraine is a bit more in doubt. But in today's world, Europe is actually very weak. And United States is also very weak. It's probably at its weakest ever, despite they still have the arguably the most strongest military in the world. But the US interest is not saving Ukraine. There's not US interest. There's European interest. Europe wants Ukraine to win the war. United States do not necessarily need Ukraine to win the war. They just want the war to go on for as long as possible. That's not for Europe, because fighting in Ukraine actually affects Europe very badly. But the economic situation, how trade and how the center of commerce is now in Asia, that presents a big problem, and they do not have much control over energy as well. And it comes at the same time where United States actually is losing control of the Middle East. All the Middle East oil producing countries pivoting away from United States. So under this kind of a geopolitical world, the West is not going to be able to sustain Ukraine in a major war against Russia for eternity. There will be a time there where the internal politics will force them out of the war. We will probably see that next year, maybe this year, not yet. When hardship really start to piss people off within Europe, one country by one country, slowly, they will have to pull out their support, because the government got voted out. So we will see whether this will happen. But of course, it does also might be relating to elections. So you need elections to happen for this to happen as well. So no, you cannot say Europe, half of Europe is Russia. Russia is now not a European country anymore. It's actually a Asian country. There's no more Russia in Europe. Technically speaking, Russia, geographically speaking, Russia is still Eurasian, is still half Europe, half Asian. But governmentally speaking, Russia is out of Europe. It's already out of the Council of Europe. It's out of basically all international organization. You can put it as Europe has shrinked. Rather than Russia is still in Europe. It's not. Europe has shrinked to they have kicked out Belarus and Russia essentially out of Europe. That's just what it is. GDP of $2 trillion. So this is okay, Pratt. I give you $100. I also have $100, okay? And we cannot earn any money from anywhere. We cannot take any money from anywhere. We can only use it for food. And see who can live longer. You living in Europe with $100 or me with $100 in Russia. See who can live longer. Then you know what I mean. You use this money figure, doesn't work. It doesn't work that way. You understand? $100, at least I can stay for 1 week. I can live in Russia for 1 week. You cannot even sustain 3 days in Europe. So you have to understand the cost of resources is different. The cost of living is different. I cannot hire people in Singapore at all without me, basically living my life trying to feed my workers. But with the same income that I have now, I can go to Russia and I can have at least 3 to 5 staff. I can have 5 workers. So don't use money to count in this way. It is not how it works. It doesn't work that way. So are you proud of my Chinese roots? Of course. I'm Chinese. What are you talking about? Every time I play Europa Universalis, I play as China. I install the mod. I'll play as Han. I play as Ming. I play as, yeah, because I'm Chinese. So that's so for me, I don't think Europe can sustain the war in Ukraine, which is why Russia is going to win. And because Russia fights the war themselves, they are going to improve their military tremendously. They have all the losses of the old equipments can be replaced with new ones. They are forced into new doctrines. They know new ways to fight the war. They know what equipments now work. For example, QS-1A. It was never meant to be so common. Now they realize that it is going to be like a standard equipment for every battalion, I believe. Same thing, the Terminator has always been more like a experimental weapon. Now the Terminator is, I believe, they're going to mass produce it and become a standard weapon as well for every battalion. So Russia, to me, even I have said this right at the beginning of the war, when the war just started, when I was verbally protesting about my country, Singapore's sanctioning of Russia, I said, Russia will go out of this war, will come out of this war as a superpower. And I still maintain this view until today. Is still, and whatever information, the data that I can see is still accurate. Russia is going to come out of the Ukraine war as a superpower. Previously, it was just a major power. There's only one superpower, which is the United States. Russia will come out of the Ukraine war as a superpower. And the military experience, the upgrading, the new trade agreements, the new trade routes, is just going to make Russia even more powerful. Because if the war ends and then trade resumes for Russia between Europe and Russia, now Russia doubles its trading capabilities, its markets. So Russia will become super powerful. Have I seen the footage of a Ukrainian commander kill his troop with grenades for refusing to fight? Yes, I saw that. Yeah. I don't know what else to say about that. Lee Kuan Yew is a cool guy. Singapore achieved so much. Yeah, we achieve a lot because we are pragmatic people. Like I'm a pragmatic person. We are very practical people. So do you think Russia will go up the Dnipro and the Odessa? Yes, eventually, but not yet. Until they wipe out the entire assault force. So Ukraine still have a lot of assault troops, at least another 8 brigades of it. So yeah, until those 8 brigades are totally exhausted, Russia will not go on the offensive in a big way. Yeah. Lee Kuan Yew, best disinformation agent. Lee Kuan Yew is dead. Do you know? He's already passed away. You superpower, you must be kidding yourself. You will become a vessel to China. You do not know China's weaknesses. Then, 徐老大, no. China is a country full of weaknesses. There's a lot of weakness in China. That's why China cannot survive the kind of sanction regime that Russia is going through right now. You need to have a lot of natural resources in order to be a superpower. If you need to import everything, then you better become very offensive. You have to conquer and colonize a lot of countries like Britain. British Empire have nothing. Britain themselves, United Kingdom itself, is not that rich. It is true colonialism that makes them a superpower. China have to go that route. Within China itself, the natural resources is not enough for this whole country. It's an importing country, and then it had to export to earn the US dollar to import stuff. So that's why one of the major things that China is trying to do is to de-dollarize, to promote de-dollarization, because dollarization is a big problem for China. They want to stop using US dollar, then they can actually import stuff using Chinese yuan that they can print themselves. Then they can make import even cheaper so that they can become stronger. So Otherwise, but everything you need to import is not so simple. Pro-Russian meltdown is ha ha ha. Meltdown about what thing? I don't know what's the thing that Russia had to melt down at this moment. Why do American liberals think Singapore is a dictatorship? Okay, this is a very good question. Because Americans, NGOs, agents, intel agents, and whatnot have problems infiltrating and controlling Singapore. So a lot of people say that Singapore is a puppet government or a client state to the United States. It's not. Because they have no way of infiltrating into Singapore. Their influence operation or the intel gathering operation is very limited. They cannot set up NGOs, all those Soros. Do you know that anything Soros is banned in Singapore? No Soros NGOs can be set up in Singapore. There's one guy, some sort of like a dissident. He tried. He started a company, and then after the government learned that it is funded by Soros, one of the Soros NGO, the whole company got shut down. And then this guy is banned from starting companies. This is Singapore. This is why, if you want to know about Singapore, you have to ask me, because what you read is not real. They call Singapore a dictatorship because you cannot sell newspaper in Singapore without permit. You can still put it online. Singaporeans still can read CNN and whatnot. But within Singapore itself, there's control. We do not allow them to set up offices if they don't put Singapore's interests in mind. They cannot report fake news. They cannot report influence. And they cannot deliberately try to interfere with the internal politics. So, which is why, it's very irritating to the Americans, because Singapore is so hard to penetrate. And which is why the easy thing is that, Singapore have no press freedom. I'm Singaporean, I'm doing DPA, I say whatever I want. No one come and knock my door. So, and I'm going against the Singapore government's position. So what? Press freedom, right? So freedom of speech, that's in Singapore. So a lot of things that you hear about Singapore is not accurate, because the Western media, which is largely dictated by the US government, they don't want to play up Singapore, because Singapore's system is a bit different. Singapore's governmental system is very weird. Yeah, to put it that way. We are very centralized. The government controls a lot of things. We have very powerful government-linked companies that's controlling everything. So, which is why, Singapore's economy itself is also very hard to penetrate. It's very hard for a foreign company to come into Singapore and to try to take over certain key industries, and then to use it as a platform to destroy the economy or destabilize the economy is not possible at all in Singapore, because Singapore's most vital industries are all government controlled. So yeah, when that is very Russian or very Chinese, Singapore is more like Russia and China than actually any European countries. So that's just the reality. Soros sort of still infiltrated you. Hollywood, yeah. You mean you cannot. There's Hollywood is also, you can say it's Soros, but you can also say it's Chinese, because China have bought up a lot of Hollywood studios. So it depends on what you want to see. And the thing is that you can put up the movies in Singapore, sure, you can put it up, but the thing is, people would still decide whether they want to watch it. You just look at Disney's movie; they are also failing in Singapore. To be honest, they are also failing in Singapore. You bring woke culture into Singapore, they also dies. So no, Prigozhin won't be the next president of Ukraine. It's impossible. He will be killed off first by Russia, then we'll allow him. You have to understand this coup d'etat or mutiny. You have to understand it in the simplest way first. You don't look at it in a conspiracical way first. Look at it as what it is. He basically brought his private troops and tried to march on Moscow, which means that he has proven to Putin that he is a untrustworthy person. He cannot be trusted anymore. That's just the bottom line. And for him to become the president of Ukraine, he will be killed off immediately. They will not allow another person which now Prigozhin probably will have his ego is definitely getting badly hurt. And he as a person, who has so much power, he definitely wants revenge. You wouldn't want a vengeful person to become the leader of a country that you just finished a war with, if he becomes the president after the Ukraine war. Do you think it's time to send more women and trans people to the front line for diversity? Sure, why not? In fact, build them into one single division and send them to Africa to fight those Islamist extremists, and then maybe send another division right into Ukraine to be a foreign legion. I will highly support that. My problem with Russia is that it's exclusively attacking Orthodox Christian countries while presenting itself as a defender of Christianity. Exclusive attacking Orthodox Christian country like who? David? No, Prigozhin cannot be trusted already, so he cannot become the leader of a vassal state. Prigozhin has proven that he will go against Putin's will, and Putin will not allow that. That's why we have a second confirmation that Putin is condemning Prigozhin and Wagner. And Wagner is going to be disbanded. There's not going to be Wagner group anymore in Russia, given the speech and the statement coming out, from RT. Yeah, so he come out already, the statement. Okay, so let's go through what was said, because I worry that I didn't get it correctly. So the Putin credited the patriotic spirit of the nation for avoiding bloodshed, and condemned the treasonous mutiny by Wagner. So this is very important, because you can have all the conspiracy in the world, but he's condemning internationally and nationally on Wagner, which means Wagner can no longer exist within Russia. Supporting of Wagner would become slightly treasonous. So, and Putin thanks Lukashenko for the contribution to the peaceful resolution. This is probably very nice words to continue to build the friendship between the two countries, and because I think Putin was probably planning to wipe out the Wagner troops. So Lukashenko maybe have better plans. Maybe Lukashenko wants the Wagner groups to operate for Belarus, because Belarus is under a serious national threat. So national security threat. So Wagner group might be very useful for Belarus. So, and then the Wagner members who wish to do so can leave for Belarus, go home, or join the Russian military. So this is confirmed. Putin is giving only 3 choices for the Wagner troops. There will no longer be Wagner private military contractors. So they have to either go to Belarus to continue their Wagner career, or they can go home, or they can re-enlist in the Russian military. The promise I made will be fulfilled. The choice is yours, but I am sure it will be the choice of the Russian soldiers who have realized their tragic mistake. So he's calling the Wagner group Russian soldiers, and he's trying to tell them that the coup is a mistake. And then the president thanks the Russian people for the endurance, immunity, patriotism, firm, ambiguous, blah 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 blah. Yeah. So he accused the organizer, basically Prigozhin and his lieutenants, for betraying not just the country but their men, leading them astray into criminal fratricide. Well, I've never seen this word before. What the hell is this word, man? Fratricide. The act of killing one's own brother. Oh, okay. That's a new word for me. And so the West and Ukraine want Russian soldiers to kill each other. So soldiers and civilians would die. And in the end, Russia will lose, society break apart, bloody civil strife. They rub their hand and dream of getting revenge for their failures at the front and the so-called counter-offensive, but they miscalculated. So in one paragraph, Putin actually dissed the Ukrainians for a failed counter-offensive, which is actually winning right now. If you go and check the lazy sit rep, it was a trashing. So Putin thanked the soldier, police, and special service for remaining true to their oath. And he noted the courage and self-sacrifice of fallen pilots. So Putin basically acknowledged that there is losses on the Russian side, particularly from the Air Force. So this is actually a confirmation that the airstrikes and the surface-to-air missile attacks against the Russian Air Force is real. And he also thanked, and the thanking of the soldiers, police, and special services is important. Why? Because Prigozhin is banking on his popularity to subvert military units to be on Wagner's side, because it is very difficult to fire upon your own people. So if there is more of the Russian units decided to join Wagner's cause, then this entire thing would have turned out very differently. And ultimately, if imagine you are the soldier or the police, you'll be not sure, if you see not just Wagner, but you also see police officers, civilians, and other military units marching on Moscow. You don't even know if you should fire or not. So this is very important that that no one actually joined the Wagner's cause. So according to multiple reports, this is by RT, this is not by Putin. Anywhere between 2 to 20 airmen died after Wagner shot down military helicopters and an airplane. So RT only mentioned two aircraft. The Russian Ministry of Defense has not published an official death toll. This is, I can confirm, the Russian MOD have not provided any information about the death numbers or the equipment loss in this showdown between Wagner and the Russian military. And according to the president, the overwhelming majority of the Wagner fighters and commanders are also Russian patriots and prove in their courage on the battlefield, liberating Donbass and Novorossiya. And he personally ordered measures intended to avoid bloodshed and to allow those who made a mistake to rethink their actions. He thanked the Wagner members who made the right decision, who stopped before crossing the line into fratricidal bloodshed. So, yeah. So basically, this is the full statement with breakdown by Russia Today on the situation, on what he actually think about the Wagner group. So for those that would still prefer to believe in conspiracy, I mean, you can go ahead, because you can go ahead, do whatever you want. But the thing is that for me, as a principle, I would take Putin's word for it. Because that's the only way you can do journalism. That's the only way you can actually do, fact-finding. Until new evidence or new statements come out from other sources, is any conspiratorial thoughts that is or talk that is not corroborated by any sources is just imagination. So that's just what it is. Is Russia's 9/11? Seymour said it's Russia's 9/11. I'm not sure if it's a 9/11, but it's huge. It's huge. 9/11 is a bit too big. 9/11 is bigger than this, because 9/11 triggers a war on terror. So this not yet there, but it is big. Oh wow, there's a lot of people tagging me, because you all start to realize I only read the tagging one, right? Actually, I read everything. Don't have to tag me so much. Sorry for those up on top because the message on top, you might want to copy and paste again. Why do you think Wagner mutinied? Okay, my own opinion is Prigozhin, how to put it? Prigozhin had a lot of success on the battlefield, but of course, it comes with a cost. Of course, they do throw troops into difficult positions, and he feel that he is much better than those commanders in the Russian Defense Ministry. The problem is Prigozhin can never be in the military because he's not. He was never in the military. So even if he's very good at it, he cannot. And the only position that he can actually play in the Russian military, other than being Wagner, is actually to be the defense minister, like Shoigu. Shoigu also was never in the military. But I want to also remind you about Shoigu. I was in the military. I was in the military for 6 years. But you have to understand, Shoigu is the defense minister for more than 6 years, for maybe 20 years. And how long have been Shoigu been the defense minister? Let me see. Since 2012. Shoigu is the defense minister since 2012. So he has been defense minister longer than most of you guys who have been through the military. Fair? So he had more experience in the military than you or me. I was only in the military for 6 years. He was the defense minister for 11 years. So which is why, you know, it's not the most fair thing to say that, you know, Shoigu have no military experience and whatnot. His on-job experience in the defense as a defense minister, as the highest ranking rank within the military, you know, is much longer. So, you know, he see things, he has done things. You know, it doesn't matter if he has never fired, you know, had never stripped a rifle, or, you know, run the trenches, you know, climb the wall. Those are useless because his position, he don't need to learn to fight. If the defense minister's job is more towards planning and organization, it's about keeping the military running. That's why, you know, the defense minister's role is not to do operations. Then you have people like Gerasimov, who is in charge of the operations. And please do not spam, or I'm gonna mute you. WJ, you have one more time I see this thing, I'm gonna mute you, and nobody will ever see you again. Should Russia get rid of should make someone more like Kadyrov more? Yeah, but Kadyrov will never also become the defense minister, because Kadyrov is the dictator of Chechnya. So this makes him a bit dangerous to the Russian Federation, because yeah, he's a dictator of a state. So, you know, he can continue to be the warlord of the king of Chechnya, you know, but don't get involved with the federal side. Why is your Telegram chat full of naughties? Welcome to freedom of speech. No, I don't decide. I also don't ban people unnecessarily. Do you think Putin wants to go to war longer to? Yes, I agree. Yes, it's not to demoralize only. It's to exhaust. It's to exhaust economically, militarily, and politically. So, and it's not possible for the West to sustain. Most of the European countries are useless countries, like in the grand scale of things, like, you know, Lithuania, Latvia, the Baltic states are pointless. The major countries, Germany, Poland, France, these are the main ones. But even them, each of them have their own problems. Poland's militarization is also very worrying, and it's something to watch. to see their relationship with the other countries and to see why are they militarizing so much. But of course, you know, it could be just to defend themselves, but the military they are building up is massive. Everyone is making big bucks in the Russian MIC. Yeah. Prigozhin doesn't hand money to anyone. He's a contractor. Yeah, true. Toby is right. Sounds like an old Street Fighter name, Shoigu. Shoigu! Ryu! Round 1! 打到国运没为止。What is 国运 actually? I consider this a ploy between two longtime friends to be able to relocate Wagner as a barrier group into Belarus without drawing attention. The reality is they can just redeploy. There is a lot of political damage for Putin. This entire mutiny is actually very damaging to the prestige of Russia, to the prestige of Putin's rule as the leader, and to the prestige of the Russian military. So no one do something like that. No one does something like that. If you want to redeploy Wagner into Belarus, you just do it. There is no reason to do all these things. So what's about my favorite food? I actually have no idea. Are you worried about nuclear or world war? Yeah, I'm super worried. super worried because it's so possible. And many of you guys are dreaming. You all do not know how close we are to a world war. Yeah. Yes, I was just talking about the Polish military build-up. They're buying so much Korean stuff. Korea must be so happy. But the problem I have with the Polish military build-up is I do not know if Poland actually have the money to pay for all these things. So yeah, that's the question I have, because yeah, where did they find all this money to buy so much weapons, and how do you maintain such a huge army? How do you sustain that? If you cannot sustain, you go to war. That's the problem. So yeah. Yeah, it also boosts more Ukrainian morale, Yeah, and the Russia collapse joke. Yeah, it's just way too much damage to to be for this to be like a conspiracy, Do you think Prigozhin was drunk and high? No, he was. Yes, he's drunk on power and high on confidence to think that he can pull it off. That's why I say that he actually overplayed his hands. But he do know that his time is running out, because he's getting way too popular and too powerful, and too problematic for the government. So we are going to see probably less less intrigue. But who knows? Maybe Prigozhin will continue to criticize the Russian military from Belarus. Then we shall see what Belarus is going to do. Wagner name change? I don't think so. I don't think they'll change the name. It's good branding, You don't change away the brand and then you become a nobody. 以一国之力消耗欧盟，还可以耗到几时? So Kelvin Lee said that with the power of one country to exhaust the European Union, how long can it be exhausted? So this is another thing that I also want to share. Russia is a huge country. One Russia, if Russia have so much territory, so much different states within it, it is basically 30 over countries. Put it that way. That is comparable with European Union. Just that the population wise, it's not comparable, because Russian population have dropped a lot. But if Russia is one country, but actually is a federation of many states. So which is why, if it's not a very accurate way to look at Russia. So Russia on its own is like its own European Union. You can call it a Eurasian Union. Okay, it's also a EU. It's a Eurasian Union. So European Union versus Eurasian Union, and this Eurasian Union has has better integration, and they have better shared resources. So no, and they have no internal politics like the European Unions have. So yeah, you tell me. We already bought this thing. We just waiting for delivery. Yes. They are waiting for. I think the delivery will be across the 3 to 4 years for the Polish tanks and everything to come. HIMARS and the Abrams will take longer because the Americans building is much slower. What else? Do you see a big Russian attack in the near future? No. No. They will be on the defensive until the Ukrainians exhaust themselves. Poland buying everything because they thought Germany is going to pay them reparation. I think that the Polish buy everything so that the Germans will pay reparation. I think that's what is going to happen. Do you watch Big Union? Curious? No, I talk to him, but I don't watch his stuff. I don't watch anyone's stuff actually. I don't watch Ukraine war stuff generally speaking because it's so boring. Because I already reading the news and the sources. Everybody is reading the same sources. So if I watch another person's stuff, what I'm actually learning is only their opinions. I'm not learning the facts. So the only one that I watch is History Legend because he digs stuff that I never know. So that's very cool that he's managed to dig information that I don't know. And he do very good analysis. Whip Union is a friend. We talk a lot. We have our own chat group. So but I don't watch his stuff. Yeah. And what else? The speech today is in order to close the chapter on this code. Yeah, correct. Nice try, we were you up. Yeah, which is correct. I agree. China did mention the quick resolve of this make Putin government stronger. But China just say things, you can totally ignore China's words. They just say things for the fun of it. The words don't match their actions usually. So it's a distraction or something else going on. Like what? Hunter Biden's situation and the Trump's lawsuit. The government, the what's it called? Yeah, the impeachment. Is it called impeachment or conviction? They don't DPA. What happened? Why did I click and then they don't DPA? It's all on credit. Yeah. They don't pay upfront everything. So definitely. Okay. Bye, Joe W. Bye. I told you don't copy and paste this again. You don't listen. Russian GDP is tiny compared to EU. I just described this. You may want to pull back and re-listen the whole thing. I'm not going to repeat again. Yeah. So anyone think Russia could collapse at any time due to this? Blah 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 blah. Yeah, don't think so. King General Alexander Vonishkov would be better than Gerasimov. I actually don't know who are they. So no, I also don't know what is so good or so bad about Gerasimov. So I have no answer about that. Yeah, so DBA don't got time for anyone else shit. Yeah, in a way, is how to put it. For example, if you watch the entire press conference of a certain thing, what is the reason to read another news article about the exact same press conference that you actually watch live? It's only to watch for opinions. So the thing is, I'm not interested in other people's opinion about the Ukraine war. So no, I don't. Yeah, because the reason is this: if I watch, I worry that it will affect my analysis. Because if I hear something, then I would think that is possible. Then it actually contaminate how I look at things. Something like this, So Ruslan said that he's a half Russian, half Kenyan, and traveled to Russia only as a child. Why do you have patriotic feelings for Russia as if he's lived there the whole life? I have never lived in China. But I have the affinity for China. The This is just our cultural heritage. It's just how it is. And all Chinese around the world have this affinity to China. Just like all Indians around the world have affinity to India. All Russians around the world will have affinity to Russia. It's normal. So it's just that just need to be careful not to be manipulated, because China, the Communist Party of China do use this affinity in terms of a common heritage, common ethnic or cultural history, and they uses this to to do their influence operations, and they try to influence you to become more pro current China. But the thing is, there's a difference between heritage and government. The government, the ruling party, or the leaders is not the same thing as the culture and ethnic heritage. So it's two different things. So yeah, so just be you can love Russia, you can love Russian stuff, you can love Russian culture, Russian history, but don't conflict it with supporting Putin or supporting their political parties or their geopolitical aims, because you should take care of yourself, your own country, where you are, your own interests first. Yeah. Yeah. How do you think Russia is going to respond from the Russian counteroffensive? They're going to defend. Yes, there is some decent gains. If you have watched the latest sit rep, or you're lazy and you just watch the lazy sit rep, you will have noticed that the Ukrainians have some gains across many fronts, 5 different fronts. So the score of the lazy sit rep is 5-0. Ukraine basically trashed Russia over the past 2 days. While it's like they are taking advantage of the chaos that's happening within Russia. But yeah, this is still a long way to go for the Russian lines to collapse. But then the Russians are saying that, the Ukrainians have lost so many troops, which is also true. But the thing is, if the Russians have these gains, all of the pro-Russian telegrams and everything will be celebrating. So, so it is Ukraine winning right now. And Poland beefed up their military thanks to EU funding. Really? I don't know. Actually, I don't know. I know Poland is getting certain grants, but I'm not sure if it's that much to actually buy this much shit. Just by HIMARS, I think they're buying some stupid amount of HIMARS. So I cannot remember the number. I know it's some stupid number. It's just like way too much. Like, you actually don't need that much HIMARS. You need more of the missiles, not the vehicles, not the launchers, because the launchers are not easy to hit. Because if you look at the Ukrainian HIMARS and the M270, it's so hard to spot them. It's so hard to catch them because they are so mobile. Once they fire, they just scoot and run away. So I think Poland did the wrong thing. They buy too much HIMARS. You don't need that much. You need more missiles. Yeah, the doctrine of war is different. This I agree. Okay, this is how China has won for itself a lot of Kuomintang members in Taiwan. Why is ironic considering the history? I'm not sure if that is the case. What won? I feel that you have to understand, Kuomintang is still China. Republic of China is still China. In fact, 30 years ago, the Taiwanese government, the Republic of China, still have dreams of reconquering China, reinvading into mainland China and retaking China from the Communist Party 30 years ago. So now it's a bit different because most of those generation that still remembers the Civil War is either very old or they have died. The newer generation of people have never experienced war, and they don't need it. The culture of Taiwan is very different than mainland China, because mainland China education system, everything, the political system, everything is different. So for example, Taiwan people feels closer to Singaporean people than China people. To be honest, Singaporean Chinese is more closer more similar to Taiwanese Chinese than actually to China Chinese. That's why China Chinese, even when they come to Singapore, they struggles to integrate. They cannot integrate, not so easily. But Singaporean Chinese, when we go to Taiwan, oh, it's so comfortable. No, it's just like we are the same people. So but Taiwan has already moved on. They are already their own country, pretty much. So it's just that politically they can't. Diplomatically, they just can't go independence because China declared, if you go independence, we go to war. Although they are still at war by right. So technically they're still at war. They're just like North Korea, South Korea. Just that Taiwan just screwed it up. And to be honest, Republic of China also got screwed by United States. Because United States wanted China to be part of UN for what or to try to integrate them, because China at that time was going against the Soviet Union. So to bring China to their side, they swap PRC for ROC, People's Republic of China for Republic of China, and the condition is that everyone must follow a one China policy. And suddenly overnight, Republic of China is entirely booted out of United Nations, and suddenly the entire country of Taiwan has lost their diplomatic place in the world. So is it fair? It's not fair, because North and South Korea each has their own UN seat, but Taiwan does not have. Why? Because USA screw up Taiwan for you. So if you're Taiwanese, then you should know United States cannot be trusted, but also China cannot be trusted. No major powers can be trusted, not even Russia. So that's just how it is. Everybody, every country just have to deal with their own. So Taiwan, by right, to me, to be honest, Republic of China should have immediately declared independence as Taiwan. But during those days, because of the Cold War, they want China to be on their western side. Yeah, that's just how it went. The West celebrating what exactly? Yeah, I also don't know. There's nothing to celebrate, to be honest. If Russia win the war in Ukraine, who will be next on the target list for Russia? Okay. Personally, I do not think Russia will go to war to capture more land after Ukraine, because Ukraine will be I believe Russia will take half of Ukraine. But if let's say this is like a computer game, and then the game is just to conquer more and more land, Baltic states, to take back to reintegrate Latvia, Lithuania and Estonia into the Russian Federation. So I think those are the weak ones, and they will also use it as a as a as a game of chicken to see if NATO will actually fulfill their mandate, and if they do not, NATO will collapse. So yeah, it's going to be that kind of crazy. But I don't think so. I don't think Russia needs those 3 territories. Yeah. So 500 HIMARS. Yeah, that's the number. 1,000 K2 tanks, 400 Abrams. Yeah, Poland will become the most powerful military in Europe, other than Russia. So when everything comes in, but not yet. I think the delivery of a K2 tank is starting. So yeah, I think that's happening. And thanks for 500 of you guys are watching right now. I shall throw an ad at you. They should thank Putin rather than make fun of him, because Prigozhin took his place and he would have nuked Ukraine right away. Yeah, maybe. The how to put it? My opinion of Putin is that he's someone who's very, very calculated. Everything is very planned. There is a plan. Everything, there's a strategy, and you play by the game, the plan that they have set out. The problem with Prigozhin is he don't follow the plan. He just keep doing his own thing. Like I think if you guys have been following me, you have probably know that I said that I don't think Russian military intended to capture Bakhmut. No, they didn't intend for the push to be so fast. The Wagner just keep pushing. So it kind of messed up the Russia MOD's plan, I think. So, but of course it could also be, you know, Russia MOD, the generals involved are just lousy. So, you know, we don't, who knows? Nobody knows what is the real thing. So, and if there's a plan and Prigozhin has proved to be someone that cannot follow the plan and continue to keep doing his own thing, then he should be sacked. The problem is, how do you sack someone who is not under your government? So, yeah, that's just how it is. I mean, Donald Trump also sacked a lot of people during his time because all these people all just keep doing his own thing and ignore Trump's directive. So, you know, it's normal. So, you know, this is a good way to get him sacked, I guess, and totally disband Wagner to remove a potential threat to national security. So, not wrong. Poland have already much stronger land army than Russia before they attempted to invade Ukraine. Are you sure or not? Ukraine's military is stronger than Poland before the war. Yeah, so that's my thinking. You think whatever you want. So when you start off your video, you need to bet out the tagline. Hello everyone, this is Defense Politics Asia. Now, I cannot do it every video. No, then it's not so special already. Poland, what is Poland going to do with 500 HIMARS? I have no idea, man. The Ukraine with just like 20 over with the M270s and the Mars 2, like maybe there's like 35, 30, 40 launchers at most. Those 30 launchers already give Russia so much problems in the rear. So so 500 is like, you know, overkill. I don't know. Maybe they use 500 to wipe out the entire front line. That could work as well. Or maybe Ukraine just didn't have enough HIMARS. So which is why, you know, Ukraine is not winning the war as fast as they should. What do you make of Prigozhin's statement about Putin being misled about the reasons to invade? I think this is just bullshit. The decision to fight a war is not made by the military. It's made by the civilian government. So Putin, like I said, I believe I covered this before as well. There's a line that cannot be crossed for Ukraine. Joining NATO is that line, and nuclear weapons is that line. Zelensky, a week before the invasion, say that no, the Budapest memorandum should be tapped, and Ukraine should have the right to, you know, acquire nuclear weapons. Not directly, we say it in a hint. So if that's the case, then yeah, there's the red line that has been crossed. So you don't want Ukraine to get even much more stronger, because Ukraine is slowly getting stronger and stronger militarily. So you don't want Ukraine to get even stronger before you invade. So you invade while you still can defeat them. Yeah, just that, no, unfortunately, Ukraine did not capitulate, and so the war continues until today, which is not, it's a bad thing and not a bad thing. Not a bad thing is because now you guys are listening to me, but it's a bad thing because so many people have to die. So if you study Russia, they always messed up the first year or two. Yeah, I agree. Because Russia is a huge country. That's just how it is. How Russia achieved success in the SMO without Wagner? Why not? Why not? Wagner was not fighting in Mariupol. Russia captured Mariupol. So, you know, yeah, there is no worries. Wagner is not, you have Wagner ultimately is still just one force, one small force. So, you know, yeah. BBC released some video of the Putin speech. The speech is so short, you know, they should release the whole thing. What do you think of drone and Russian production? Yeah, very strong. Russia is a manufacturing country, so they can do it very fast. Shit, I lost where the chat goes. Where is it? Could Poland make its own missiles? I think they used to be able to. I don't think they could now. The Poland have its own military industrial complex, and it's going to die soon because Poland, instead of investing in their own military industrial complex, they buy everything from Korea, South Korea, and United States. So it's going to be dead. Serbia. I think Serbia have their own problem with Kosovo, and Serbia is trying to play neutral the right way. So I think Serbia will be fine. I think the problem is with Kosovo, it won't be in the Ukraine saga. Poland buys so many HIMARS because the order was placed by idiot politicians. I have no idea how Poland military works. So we have clown politicians in Poland. They're hot-headed and don't know what to do, and then panic buy and promise to rebuild military result in big huge debts. Yeah, my worry for Poland is huge debts. And when you have huge debts and you have a huge military and you cannot sustain it, the natural thing to do is actually to go to war with it, because don't waste the money, and you have to find ways to pay for it. So going to war, capture new grounds, getting more land, more industries, pays for the military. So that's my worry, that Poland will actually try to do something with the big army that they cannot pay for. So yeah, that's very worrying. Like you do not want militarize in that way unless you're preparing for war. So yeah, it's quite scary what Poland is doing. DPA, you have a big delay. That's not nice. You are making me cry. I can't be helped. This is just how it is. Why Poland buying more weapons will kill them? Because it will go to war. Yeah. And we bought 1,400 Polish-made IFV, so our industrial defense complex are going great. By who? By Poland buy for themselves? Okay, then that will be good. Then I will stand correct. I'll stand corrected. But you buy your own doesn't mean that the others is free though. You still have to pay for the Abrams. You still have to pay for the HIMARS, the K2 tanks. Yeah. The chat keep jumping, so no. Germany is quite anxious when Poland wanted additional war reparation. Yeah, I find that really unfriendly. Poland asking for World War II reparation is just like the African Americans asking for reparations for the era of slavery. Is like what? What do you think of the future of Siberia? Chinese or Russian? Russian, of course, Russian. I don't think China would dare to invade Siberia, unless they want some nukes. Unless Russia collapses on its own. If there's an internal civil war, then China will move for Siberia. Yeah, that's what I think will happen. They not just Siberia, they will conquer Mongolia as well. So yeah, because you have to have Mongolia, then you can go for Siberia. Serbia is looking for Nagorno-Karabakh 2020 scenario. Yeah, not happening. That's not happening. Knuffle trolls everywhere nowadays. Should Russia take all of Ukraine? No, half. Oh, so the other, so Crawford, the Russia will take half of Ukraine, then the other half, at least a quarter to a third of them will become independent republics. They will become buffer countries. So Russia will unlikely to want to be neighbors with Ukraine anymore. So they will have all these little Transnistrias all across the border, and then then you have a little tiny, Ukraine that is like maybe 1/3 of the size, and then maybe Poland wants some land. Maybe you have such a huge military, why not use it? So yeah, Poland and Germany. Do you think Poland and Germany will have a fight? Actually, I think it might. Now it doesn't look like it, but Poland asking Germany for war reparation is unusual. So it's something to watch. To be honest, it's something to watch, and it's not just the war reparation. I believe half a year ago there was something to do with the river, as well, river poisoning or something. So there is a lot of tension between Poland and Germany as well. Something that I really want to cover. Just this stupid war waste so much of my time. I don't have time to read up, so I will try to cover if I have the chance. If Turkey attacked Greece and the straits closed down, how will this affect the war? It will not affect the war, because Turkey will not dare to. No. Put it that way. The straits is still closed, largely only to trade, and it doesn't affect Russia that much. And I don't think Turkey dares to not allow Russia to go past. Russia trading ships, commerce ship is definitely still going to go past, unless Turkey wants a war with Russia. Yeah, I don't think Turkey wants to offend Russia. And China with Siberian resources will cause a US response. Oh, for sure. But a Chinese invasion of Siberia will only happen if Russia goes into civil war. And if Russia goes into civil war, you can 100% be sure United States will get themselves involved, supporting one of the sides. And yeah, then it will be like a Libyan situation where there will be like a lot of foreign countries taking sides with different factions within the civil war, and China will just try to take advantage. Then US will go and support one of the side to in Siberia to fight the Chinese. Yeah, it will be a world war. So that's why I think Russia cannot collapse. Russia collapse, it will be a world war, or it will be very bad for the world. You don't want such a major power, a potential superpower like Russia to collapse. If China can collapse, China is very self-contained, but Russia is very different. Russia, because there is way too much resources in Russia, which is why everyone will try to take part in it. That is the main difference. There's nothing much in China. No one wants any piece of China. So China, in the China Civil War, if you have seen Chinese Civil War, not many people want to support the sides inside. You have the Germans, the Nazi Germans supported a little bit. Then you have the Soviets, but the Soviets have its own intention because they want to spread communism, they want to spread their influence. But there is no resources to fight over. China have not much to fight over for. So it's a bit different. China and Russia is just so different. Oh, why did it jump off? Oh my god. Now I lost it again. Yeah, China creeping in, yeah, but not yet, definitely not yet. If Russia were to, let's say, build a base in Latin America, they can use it to leverage. That's what I thought would happen, So to build a military base or something, or to place missiles in Latin America, I thought that is what Russia would do instead of invading into Ukraine. That's actually, I actually wrote an article about it before the war. But Russia took the more difficult division. So yeah, that's just how it goes. USA or China scare me more? China scare me more, of course. No, because I'm not a Middle Eastern, I'm not an Arab. If I'm an Arab, United States scare me more. If I'm African, United States scare me more. If, as in Southeast Asia, China scare me more. I'm not saying that USA is not scary. USA is fucking scary. How many countries have been destroyed and messed up by United States? So they are just as scary. Just that as me in Singapore, as a Southeast Asian, the bigger threat is China. It's not United States. But if I'm an Arab, I'm in Middle East, then the threat is actually United States. Yeah. So DPA waiting for Polish revenge in 2039, my friend. Yeah, yes. Let's hope there's no such major war. I really, as much as it seems very fun and exciting to talk about, Poland going nuts, but yeah, it's never a good thing to have war. People die, the suffering. Nah. They're running out of money to fulfill the promises. No idea, man. Poland asking for reparations like total war game. Give me money or we'll attack. Yeah, I agree. Just that they don't have the army to attack now, which is why they are building up. Once they build up and Germany have a weak army, oh my god, it's going to be so bad. Yeah. 24 hours news cycle only obscure. Why does it matter if Ukraine joined NATO and Finland already joined NATO? NATO have already multiple borders with Russia. Does it really matter at this point? It matters. 100%. There's a 100% difference between Finland and Ukraine. Ukraine firstly have a much bigger population. Ukraine, if you look at the war that's happening right now, Ukraine have the capability, at least in manpower, to hold their own against the Russian military. Finland don't. Finland, in World War II, Finland fought 2 wars with Russia, with actually Soviet Union. Both wars Finland lost. In both wars Finland lost territory. And Finland is very hard to reinforce. The territory is not good for fighting. Tanks cannot roll easily. So for NATO to actually reinforce Finland is also very difficult. Finland should never have joined NATO because you are just putting a target on their back for nothing. There's no reasons Russia ever needs to attack Finland. There's no need for Finland. Russia have plenty of land. The same thing for Ukraine. The whole war in Ukraine is more towards ethnic reasons. Ethnic reasons is not the land. The land is not that important to Russia because Russia have a lot of land. So which is why I don't agree with imperialism or whatnot. It's the motivation to fight in Ukraine is different. Fighting Ukraine is a expensive adventure. For Russia, going to war in Ukraine, unless for very good reason, should never have happened. And the main reason is the threat. Ukraine is largely flat. It's one of those places where Soviet Union was very determined to hold control over. If Ukraine have become NATO, the NATO would be able to place a very huge army in Ukraine, and this army can invade into Russia in multiple directions. This is what Finland cannot do. Finland just don't have the geography for it, but Ukraine have, which is why Ukraine, geopolitically speaking, geographically speaking, is a national security issue for Russia. There is a huge difference. If you play computer games, you will know. You don't want a decent sized country next to you to be totally against you. You do what you can to make sure that this will not join your enemy. That's how it is. This is just reality. A lot of people cannot agree with it, but that's just how it is. So why afraid of Russia? No, you can flip the question altogether. Why you want Ukraine to join NATO? Why would you need that? Why not you put Russia into NATO? Then you will never have an enemy, right? You can flip the question around. You will realize that it makes no sense. Russia don't need the land. They have a powerful army. Joining NATO, oh my god, they will be the most powerful army in the world. Europe joining Russia together, they will be more powerful than United States, and which is why United States do everything they can to make sure that Europe will never combine their powers with Russia. That is the main reason for the war. That is the main reason for all the geopolitical turmoil between the East and the West Europe. If the whole of Europe unites, United States will be isolated and they will become weaker than what the whole of Europe can become. That is the danger. Yeah, that's just how it is. it might be very hard to accept. Play some computer games. Really, Europa Universalis is a good example. Go and play the game. Try. You can download modern day mods. You can try to play as Russia, or you can play as Poland or Ukraine. You can try and see what will happen. Yeah, so since Poland is part of NATO, how can they be an active part of the conflict? The Poland can actually enter war not as part of NATO. The NATO doesn't stop you from doing your own things. You can still go to your own things. NATO will just say, "Oh, we are not involved." Yeah, but if Poland do that, Russia will just see it as NATO. They will not see it as Poland. So, yeah. I think I missed some message because Putin have created a limited hangout to buy time. Yeah, I agree. No, FSB will be vetting members, identify criminals and whatnot. I said in the DPA open mic, maybe you guys don't watch it. So these Wagner troops and the leaders especially that involved in the coup, they will be taken out eventually, just not now, not at the moment where they are still together with arms and equipment. Over the next years to come, one by one they'll be taken out, because these are all potential terrorists or potential problems. They'll be one by one taken out by the FSB, the police or whatnot. 100%. They will not let these people, run around, become a potential problem for Russia. So Finland have a lot of fishes to trade. The whole time going bankrupt in Finland because of all the revenues was from Russian fishing boats. I'm not sure about this though. I'm not sure what's the thing. Yeah. So okay. And the Poland goes into Ukraine. Polish soil will get attacked. It will not trigger Article 5. Yes, correct. If Poland attack Ukraine and Russia and Belarus attack Poland, it will not trigger Article 5. That is true. So that is the question for you guys who are Polish. You must understand. USA or the West would encourage Poland to do something stupid. They will encourage, because if Ukraine going to lose, they will want to push Poland into the war, but not NATO. Then Poland can go to war and then continue the war with Russia, keep the war going, but then no, Article 5 cannot be triggered. That will be what could happen. That's why if you're Polish, you need to understand this geopolitics. Poland's role in NATO is to be the buffer zone. Is to be the country that will be destroyed in a major war between Russia and NATO, because you guys will be next to Russia and next to the Ukraine, because Ukraine used to be more pro-Russia. So because they are the border countries, you are supposed to die first to give the Western NATO countries like France, Germany, United States time to build up their forces, and they will keep all the fighting within Poland. That's the job of Poland in NATO. Joining NATO doesn't mean you don't get war. So similar thing to Finland. You are just becoming the front line. You're just becoming the buffer zone to protect Germany, to protect Sweden, to protect France. To keep the war in your country. Your country will be destroyed. That's what they are doing to Ukraine right now. What's happening in Ukraine is exactly what they meant Poland to be doing. To keep the war in your country, so that you be the buffer to protect the West. So the danger could be that they might one day realize that Ukraine cannot sustain anymore. They will encourage Poland to invade, to enter the war, so that enter the war, but then they can claim it's not a NATO thing, and then they will continue to feed NATO weapons and debts and loans, similar to what they did for Ukraine, just to keep the war going. That is possible. So you have to be careful about that. Don't get triggered into voting in a direction that will cause you death and destruction. Fernie asked me about my thoughts about American bases in the Philippines. American bases has always been in Philippines. That's since World War II. Philippines is an American colony, and then after they gain independence, they take the constitution and the government style from America, so which is why it's a mess right now in Philippines. And then the military base has always been there, so there's nothing special. There's nothing new. Sisto is failing because also because those involved no longer trust Russia. No, Sisto is failing because Sisto is all about Russia. That's why it's failing. NATO is different. NATO, even though United States is outsized in NATO, like Russia in Sisto, but the thing is France, Germany, Poland, Italy, everyone do have a say. United Kingdom, they do have a say, they do contribute. In Sisto, every country is useless. Only Russia is useful. Only Russia is doing all the difficult things. Literally doing everything. Everyone is just a protectorate of Russia in Sisto. If everyone is doing their part, then it's different. Like how this Ukraine war, if you look at Russia's makeup, the military makeup, you can see the Chechen forces, you can see South Ossetian forces, the Abkhazia forces, you can see forces from different states within the Russian Federation. Yeah, that's the proper alliance. That's a proper alliance. Sisto is not. Sisto, everyone is just doing nothing. They're just waiting for Russia to help. And yeah, no, so that's why Sisto fails, because it's not a real alliance. There's a video of Ukrainian step in the landmine. Yeah, I saw it. Yeah, it's quite bad. Actually, it's a very bad idea. No, I keep the RT page on. Then everybody will think that this is a pro-Russian stream. Streams is like, fuck. Okay. What else? Pascal something says stupid things. Okay, let's watch this. This is funny. Sometimes he spills crazy things.
Он Песков сидит напротив, мой пресс-секретарь. Он несет иногда такую пургу. Я сама смотрю по телевизору, думаю, чего он там рассказывает, кто ему это поручил.
Putin is saying Peskov or saying things that Putin didn't want him to say. He's like, what is he saying? Who told him to say that? So now you know. Remember what I just told you earlier? I told you that I told you that the Putin do not do everything. It's not possible. It's not humanly possible to do everything. He depends on people. And you have Peskov anyhow say things. Then he has no control over it. That's so funny. He's like, what the hell tell him to say that? Yeah. So hi Ross Anderson. Yeah, thanks for the appreciation. Yeah, I just want to bring perspective, especially in the realistic ways. It's not ideological ways. Like even people know me to be so-called anti-China or anti-CCP. It is not out of ideology. Communist Party of China is not communist anymore. They basically adopted the entire Singaporean system. So they are basically like a massive big Singapore. The problem is their foreign policy. They are threatening the security of Southeast Asia. That is my problem with China. It's not the internal politics. I don't care about the Uyghurs. If I want to care about the Uyghurs, there's so much things to care about in the world. We have to care about the North Koreans. You need to care about the Rohingyas. They need to care about all the African countries, the Sudans. There's so much things to worry about. So it's not the internal politics. It's the geopolitics. China's geopolitics is terrible. They are extremely aggressive. you wouldn't know how aggressive China is until you are a neighbor to China. They literally will put threats against you, and they will implement the threat. That's what China does. They literally can shut off passport, visa. They don't allow any Chinese tourists to go to a certain country, and they did that to South Korea. They did that to Taiwan. They did that to Thailand. I'm not sure if Taiwan, yes, Taiwan and South Korea, they did that to them. They don't allow their people to go on tours, and that devastated the tourism industry in those countries. So no, people who say that no, China is not aggressive or not, you do not know what you're talking about. So no, that's why I want to give you the perspective, but you can disagree. But internal politics, I don't give a damn. China want to be authoritarian. They want to, if Xi Jinping want to call himself emperor, up to him. It doesn't matter to me. It's the geopolitics that is what I actually passionate about. Like, the situation in Poland, that is very, very interesting to me, because there is no reason any country would take such a big risk to build such a huge military. The amount of buying they are doing in such a short time is scary. People should take a look to look at it. The last time someone militarized in this way is Nazi Germany. So you have to be careful, Nazi Germany militarized in a few years, and what do they do next? They go to war. So you have to be worried about this sort of things. So let me go back to where I missed. Okay, after the Philippine base, I saw that one. The Greco-Turkish war is something that can happen if NATO destabilize. Yes, but no, if NATO is already not very stable. If you look at it, like Turkey is blocking the entry of the two new countries, so it's already not so stable. And there's this talk about wanting to kick out Turkey. There are some rumors, they are considering whether to kick out Turkey, because Turkey is such a troublemaker, right? Because it's like Turkey is blocking everything, because Turkey is actually not European. To be honest, Turkey is not a European country. It's a Middle Eastern country. So if they kick out Turkey, yeah, then a war between Greece and Turkey would be very likely. And NATO do not necessarily have the military strength to deal with Turkey and Russia at the same time. And if Turkey joins CISTO, oh my god, the world will become upside down. Going next. Russia want to join NATO but don't stand in line. This is actually the normal talk. The truth is there's no such thing as a line. There's no such thing as a queue. That's the reality. Why is there a queue? There's no all this is arbitrary. The NATO don't want certain countries because certain countries are useless. Every country that they let in has a purpose. The Baltic states are let in so that they can entrap Russia. The Baltic states are useless. Militarily, they are useless. They are too small. Their military is pointless. It's useless. They are laughable, militarily speaking. So why are they there in NATO? Why bringing them in? Because they can be used to entrap Russia, to make Russia's military planning harder, increase the front lines, and keep the fighting far away from the West. That's the reason. Poland, same thing. They want Poland to be the front line. Turkey, why? Because Turkey got the biggest army after United States with NATO. So they will become a massive threat to Russia from the south, so that they can break the front line into two different fronts. So that is the purpose. So NATO don't just add countries for fun. They add countries because it serves a purpose. And usually the new country's purpose is to be the front line. Why Georgia? Same thing, it's the south. To create another front line to distract the Russian forces away from the western front. So that is the reason for NATO. So no, there's no such thing as a line. What will happen if Russia loses the war with Ukraine? Russia will collapse. Russia will disintegrate. So Alferia say that I have a good understanding of geopolitics, because geopolitics is actually something I like. I like more than military stuff. So just that, I just happen to be reporting more on military stuff because because it just happened. I prefer to, I like geopolitics more. Yeah, so no, then I just down. It makes no sense. Any country in NATO that's invaded trigger Article 5. Poland will always be protected. You should go and read the Article 5. In the Article 5, there is no obligation for any country to go to war. You go and read Article 5 for real. Article 5 only says that the countries should help, but they never say they should go to war. They never say that they have to join in militarily. Whatever they are doing for Ukraine is just like an Article 5, to be honest. So if, let's say, Poland is invaded, Poland can be treated just like what they are treating Ukraine right now. They'll be giving them fuel supply, ammo supply, loans, and everything, but without going to war. That is possible for Article 5. So don't assume Article 5 is an automatic protection that the whole alliance will go to war. They can, but it's not an obligation. If United States, as the leader, says no, we are not going to go to war, no one will go to war, and you shall die alone. That's why I always say that the Baltic states are overplaying their hands, because they constantly trying to poke at the bear without realizing that the West are not going to save them. If Russia had enough and go to war and conquer them, they will just be a pawn to increase sanction or increase reasons to demonize Russia. They are useless militarily speaking. They cannot be reinforced. You cannot put massive troops there because they will be wiped out, because they will be encircled right at the beginning of the war. So that's just how it is. Are Ukraine and Poland stupid? Or did NATO, USA buy off Ukraine and Polish leaders? No, it's all fear. They're not stupid. Of course, some of them might be bite off, but it is more of fear of Russia. But the thing is, the fear, how to put it? They never consider that USA can be even more detrimental to their country, because United States is so far away. If United States is next to them, they would think very, very differently. But United States is so far away, so they probably think that, no, we have such a mighty country far away that can support us. No, we are not so afraid of this giant neighbor of Russia next to us. That's what they think. So, but they never thought that, because you're so far away, so you're not actually that important. No Americans is going to die for Polish land, for Polish life. No Americans. United States will not go to war for Ukraine. United States will also not go to war for Poland. They will not. Just a fact. Unfortunate fact. Russia doesn't have the combat power to win in Ukraine as long as the West is backing the war. The last check of the map, let me see. Russia still have more land in Ukraine than before the war started. So yeah, Russia is still winning the war right now as we speak. How long do you think the Ukraine war will last? I actually have no idea, man. The final result will 100% be a Russian victory. That's my opinion. But of course, I can be wrong, because if this is the Vietnam War, okay? Vietnam War. We have the North versus South Vietnam, and the Americans are supporting the South Vietnam. I will also say South Vietnam will win the war. And I would think that way, because the United States is so powerful. But things can go very differently. So who knows? Will there be a war between Serbia and Albania? And I don't think so. Why Albania? What's wrong with Albania? Because of Kosovo? No, I don't think so. I don't think so. This war will become World War III. They are underestimating Russia, and they keep pushing the lines with missile tanks and fighters. Yeah, the fact that it's important for me to just tell you as what it is, as it is, because the danger is if we have the wrong concept of what the reality is, then we will make a wrong decision. That's my fear. So what do you think about UK Telegram claims Russian agents threat families made progressing call off Moscow? Nah, it's just bullshit. I don't think so. Dun, dun, dun. Ukraine is the biblical Armageddon, the forever war for neocons. I don't believe in biblical stuff. Firstly, because I'm not Christian. Secondly, every single generation thinks that they are in the Armageddon. If you are in World War I and you are on the front line in the trenches, you would think that this is Armageddon. If you are in World War II, you're fighting on the Eastern Front, then you see hundreds and thousands of people dying all around you, you would think that that's the Armageddon. If you are in Libya and then you got bombed by NATO, you think that's Armageddon. If you are in Yugoslavia, you see NATO forces bombing everything and then your people are dying, your countries are splitting apart, you think it's Armageddon. So, no. Yeah, no. And hi from Poland. Hi Sebastian. Churchen's talking trash. Germany economy is fucked right now. I know him in person. Oh, what is that language, man? I don't understand. Okay, I really appreciate your insight as American. I find it oh, so actually I actually scroll too much upwards. Thank you so much, Ross. Do you think Zelensky will sit as a dictator? He's already a dictator right now. So if you watch the, I guess you all didn't watch, right? If you watch this Ukraine headlines, okay, I gotta turn off the sound first. So in Ukraine headlines, okay, so I've reported that Zelensky has already said that they will only hold elections after the war ends. When will the war end? He decides whether the war ends, because Russia is not going to surrender at all, because they are not even fighting in Russia. So if the onus is on Zelensky whether to surrender or not, or to end the war or not, or to negotiate or not. So Zelensky gets to decide when he will end his term as a president. So only if the war ends, then they will call off the martial law. So no election can be held while the martial law is in effect. And who decides the martial law? Also, he decides the martial law. He decides whether martial law is still ongoing or ended. So he still decides. So he decides when his term will end. So he is a dictator, and there's no opposition party right now. So he is the dictator. That's just what it is. So yeah. Yeah, it's a actually I've been wanting to do this chit chat Q&A thing for a long time. So yeah, it's a good chance to talk, because I haven't done this for a very, very long time. So I'm very happy to do this, as well. And yeah, I'm so thank you for still have 500 of you guys still around. No, the viewers are quite consistent. So I can show you that it's still quite consistent. We are still, the viewership is very consistent. We are still around 500 over people. Yeah, very interesting. CCP. Oh, you see, every time I scroll, then suddenly it jumps and I lost. Where am I? Why reinforce when you can use it to attack? As an American, you would die for Polish. Really? Okay. Russia has lost with no pill. I already reported this, man. Ta-da! I already reported this. You never watched the SITREP, right? Oh, you didn't watch the SITREP. For those that do not know, please go and watch this. Please subscribe to DPA War. You go to DPA, you go to channel, DPA War. Go to DPA War. This is where all the SITREPs are. In case you do not know. Oh my freaking god. And only 36,000 subscribers. What the hell, man? Yeah, I have been doing all this work, the viewership is so low. Okay, then so What else? Scroll. What else? 2 million dead Cambodians. What is this? 2 million dead Vietnamese. You mean the Vietnam War? Russia will get stronger from this war, 100%. For those that missed the part, Russia was trading with Europe. So now Europe don't want to trade with Russia. So Russia have to find new markets, right? They find new markets, and after the war ends, then Europe wanted to have cheap gas again. They trade with Russia. So what happens? Russia now have ×2, double the trade. This is why they will become a superpower after the war. So no, don't underestimate that. And their military will be the most well-trained, most modern, and the most with the best doctrine to fight. So they will have the most powerful military in the world. Essentially, on land, not on sea, but on land, they will have the most powerful military in the world. So Russia will become a superpower after this war. So no, that's just what it is. Why reinforce when you can attack? I don't know. No. Why attack when you can reinforce? Would NATO Ukraine dare to blow up the nuclear power plant? Why not? Okay, it will not be NATO per se. Okay, we must first look at, let's say, firstly, Russia have no reason to blow up the power plant. It makes no sense because they actually need this nuclear power plant to eventually, in the future, power the entire region here. They need it. They literally need the nuclear power plant. So why? So then we look at the Ukrainian side. Why would Ukraine want to blow up the nuclear power plant? Let me suggest you one possibility. If the war support is waning, the people in Europe is sick of the war. They don't want to pay these extra taxes. They don't want all these high inflation, high food prices, high energy prices. Then they want the war to stop. Boom, nuclear power plant explode. Russia are the evil people. So now you will support the war again because now the stupid radiation now fly into your country, and then you are now so angry because your child will get radiated and you want to go to war. You want to kill all this Russian. Yeah, there you go. Why blow up the power plant? First, they have the Kavkaz Dam first. So, but the Kavkaz Dam might be, they might have these reasons to, cross the river easier. That could be a possibility. But something like a nuclear power plant, blow it up. You have a good additional capability to ramp up war support. So, to stop the population from revolting. You can say that, you see these Russians, blow up the nuclear power plant, and you tell us to stop the war. We cannot. We must support Ukraine to the end. Yeah, that's how it will be. So, yeah, welcome to politics and geopolitics. It's disgusting and dirty, and it's very disappointing, right? Yeah. So, let's scroll. What else? Should Russia stop elections? No. Okay, the reason is simple. Putin's party is extremely popular in Russia. So as long as the election continues and his party continues to win, he continues to have legitimacy within the country. So there's no reason to stop it. Yeah. There's a super chat. Controlled demolition. Confucius say, if you respect, Confucius is Confucius. Respect your parents and grandparents and act civilly, a superpower will protect you. Your opinion on Confucianism? Yeah. I like the spelling, Confucianism. No. Respect your parents, grandparents, support, respect the authority. So Confucianism includes respect the authority, respect the law, follow the law, take care of your children, is basic for stability, for for human society. That's it. But no superpower will protect you. No superpower will protect you. Yeah. So yeah, the Belikov Dmitry, I noticed you. Hi. Hi Belikov. And blah 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 blah. Will Putin have a mandate to fight systemic corruption after the war so the trade income could be used to improve average prosperity instead of flowing the oligarchs' pockets? My understanding is that Putin is not very pro oligarchs, generally speaking, but you have no choice. Like I said, you need bureaucracy, you need oligarchs to get things done. So systemic corruption is very hard because you still need people to wipe out. It's like you watch Batman in Gotham City. It's like you have Batman, you have police force that really want to do their jobs, but they can never win against the dark forces. Batman, after many years, is still Batman. Yeah, it's not easy. So it will take time, take culture, and I think the way how Putin have dealt with Prigozhin is not the best. Like he try not to, like he'll allow this criminal to get away from this criminal charge and actually run to Belarus. Is actually not a good side. So which is why I say this is damaging to Putin. He jumps again. Okay. Why do you think the idea of being a superpower again? Why do you think of the idea rather than being a superpower again? Russia, China, right now, India, and rest of BRICS are already core superpowers. BRICS Plus already surpassed West GDP. How to put it? BRICS is not a military alliance. So you have to understand China and India are rivals, geopolitical rivals. Russia and China is geopolitical rivals. Just that the BRICS make sure that they trade, so they don't fight war. Trading, right, and free trade agreements and whatnot. All this trading is the foundations to peace. If you have trade, means everybody have a stake in each other, so you are less likely to go to war. But what happened between Europe and Russia, when you sanctioned Russia and decided not to trade at all, this increased the likelihood of war, because there is no reasons. You have no stake in my country, I have no stake in your country. Then you are not friends. Then the only thing is just war. So that's why BRICS and whatnot is a good way to ensure that they keep the peace, they keep dialogue, and also to act as a collective against the United States, because the United States ultimately is still very, very powerful. They are the superpower. So yeah, if United States collapse, I got a feeling that things would change tremendously within BRICS. So because they do not have a common enemy anymore. So yeah. But for now, BRICS is the next big thing. Communists claim victory in the last Duma election. They claim elections are massively rigged. But communists got how many seats? Just look at the seats now. Yeah, so I don't think so. This kid completely missed the globalist cabal. Yeah, but I'm talking about geopolitics. Globalist cabal is not part of the geopolitics. It's part of a different thing. The thing is, the globalist interest is what they do is EU. That's what the globalists did. They formed the EU, but the EU is not a proper union. It's only an economic union. Why economic? Because the globalist cabal only care about money and making business and doing business. A common euro allows them to trade easier without the fluctuation of currencies. So then of course they have their stake in United States. So but no, they cannot penetrate into Russia because Putin is in control. They cannot penetrate into China because the Communist Party is in control. So this globalist cabal becomes meaningless when it goes to war. Money is useless in war. So once for example, you go to a world war situation in Europe, money is useless. It's easy to go into conspiracy, but I tell you, it goes nowhere because you cannot analyze things from looking from cooperatives, global cooperatives kind of view, because those are still very economic driven, and they have no power in countries that don't allow them to trade or to control easily. Oh, you see, he jumps again. My God, keep jumping. So I lost it again. Okay. With PMC in Belarus, Wagner in Belarus, relationship with Wagner closer to NATO. Yeah, I don't think it is overblown. Wagner is a small force. It's overblown. Yeah, it's just headlines, no, just to get people to click. It's a clickbait. Dung, 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 dung. NATO did not force anyone is nonsense. Yeah. Dung, 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 dung. Beside China, Russia, USA, which country have the chance to emerge as a superpower? China cannot become a superpower unless it becomes colonial. That means it goes to conquer other countries and become a colonial master. So because China don't have the resources to be a superpower, you have to be self-sufficient. Entirely, you can, if you can cut off with the rest of the world and become self-sufficient and still continue to have a powerful military and decent technology, then you can be a superpower. There's only 2 countries in the world that can do that: United States and Russia. China cannot do that. India cannot do that. So there is no other superpowers. It's only Russia and China, which is also why, despite China is supposedly such a big threat, so-called, why the focus is on Russia? Because Russia is the only country that can become a superpower, and they want to disintegrate Russia so that they can forever no need to worry about a potential threat. China is a much easier target than Russia. It's much easier to defeat because if you cut off its trade, China is going to be a big problem. They're going to have a big problem within their country. They will not have enough petrol, fuel, food, and everything. So China is not, Russia is not. Russia is self-sufficient. So that's the difference. So there's no other country that can become a superpower unless China decide to go colonial, and that's the worry, because they are building a blue ocean army, a blue ocean navy that allows them to go further into other countries. And so yeah. Putin said they do anything to avoid a mass bloodshed. Is it worth to let a large fight break out instead? It's not worth it. That's why we have the conclusion that we had. Dun, 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 dun. Is Wagner in Belarus or Prigozhin will go to Belarus? They will go to Belarus. They are not yet in Belarus yet. The whole thing just started. Just ended. No, not so fast. They need to travel. They cannot teleport. Our goal, it has always been regime change in Russia. Yeah, they want to disintegrate Russia. That's what I do also. When you play computer games like this kind of geopolitical games, I always want to disintegrate the big countries. Even if I'm a very small country, my goal is always to break up big countries. So yeah, because it's fun, and remove them from the threat list. What do you think of AUKUS? Yeah, AUKUS is nothing. No need to too much about AUKUS. AUKUS or not AUKUS, no difference, no change. It's just a mechanism to allow them to trade, to give technology to Australia. Other than that, AUKUS doesn't really change anything. Yes, Poland did negotiate the license to produce some of these South Korean tanks. another 5 minutes. I'm also running out of voice, so I will end in 5 minutes. Let me go through what other questions. Blah 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 blah. Oh, it jumps again. Oh, there is this great job today, Commander. Thank you, Logizen. Thank you for the super chat. Yeah, it skipped again. Oh my freaking god. Now I do not know where am I. Yeah, we have the super chat here. And then Ukraine should take 50,000 men and march straight to Moscow. Yeah. So anyway, do also let me know in the comment, do you like this kind of Q&A and just casual chat about things. Let me know what you think. If I should do this more often. Yeah, let me know. Good live. Small token of support from Montenegro. NATO would truly be screwed without us. Don't underestimate the power of Russian to gaslight. What is Montenegro? I have long time never. Oh, Montenegro is here. Yeah. Yeah, I don't really fully understand this statement. No. NATO would truly be screwed without US. Oh, US. I thought it's Montenegro. Like NATO would truly be screwed without Montenegro. I was like, why? Yeah. Thank you so much for the super chat. And then Prigozhin claims MOD inflating numbers. To be honest, the statement when Prigozhin put out when he goes on his so-called march is full of nonsense. I think he just talked nonsense. He's just trying to trigger people into joining the Wagner's movement. That's why, and I think that failed entirely. So yeah, I think that was a very sinister way of him doing things. I think that actually discredited him by so much. Control demolition, I meant to say Confucianism. I also meant supernatural power, not a superpower country. Thanks. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Actually, Om Namah Shivaya is what? Hindu chant? Because I don't recognize this as Buddhist. But thank you for the super chat. Yeah. It's supernatural power. It doesn't have natural supernatural power. Like it's just a Chinese way of talking, you know. To say like, you know, if you do good, the heavens will bless you, kind of thing. Yeah. So have a good day, gents. I'm out. Bye, Keith. Yeah, enjoy the Russian tears. Putting Wagner troops in Russian army will make Russia very strong. If they use Wagner troops to be trainers and reform the military, I think that could possibly be. But really depends on how they actually do this transition. I don't think they will share, so it's going to be operational secret. Do you think Russia will back out of this war in the near future due to the mass amount of equipment, soldiers, and money loss? No, they will not. Russia will fight to the end. That's the thing. Russia will fight to the end. Singapore should not become Korea, Japan. It should join BRICS. What do you think? Yeah, Singapore should join BRICS 100%. And the thing is, Singapore is not even invited, or they didn't even try, and that's worrying because BRICS is the future, and Singapore must quickly make an attempt to join BRICS, or we will lose out hugely. I'm not sure. I'm quite sure the Singapore government is trying, but maybe Russia is blocking. I'm not sure, but I hope they are doing that, because if Singapore don't join BRICS, we are going to be in deep trouble in the future. Money is useless. So what do you think geopolitical landscape looks like in 2050? I have no idea. That's too far away, man. That's way too far, because it really depends on a lot of the things that is going to happen. Like for example, does BRICS going to work out? Will US going to collapse? The outcome of the war. So too much things is a bit too hard to predict so far in the future. Doesn't China have established colonies in Africa? No, those are not colonies. Those are just trading posts. Like they just have presence. They're trading over there, but trading over there is not colonies. That means you don't have absolute control. You do not have the navy to ensure that your imports can reach China. The British Empire have the most powerful navy in the world at those times, which is why they can maintain their empire, they can continue their trade movements. That makes them a superpower. China, that's why they are building aircraft carriers, they're building a blue ocean navy, so that they can protect their trade routes. Then they can ensure all these resources from Africa can continue to flow to China. Not yet colony yet, but when China have a powerful navy, it's hard to tell what China would do. It's hard to tell. China is a glass cannon without any proven projection. Not sure how to react to that. The cool forces allegedly around 2K. Okay. Cannot China do that using a more powerful navy and trade? Yes. That's why they're building the navy, as I just said. Why the F is Canada in G7? No. Because Trudeau is handsome. It's all circle back to World Island Heartland theory. Oh no, where is he going? Where is he going? Went to? Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Okay, we are here just now. Okay. Yeah, World Island Heartland theories. No, is this theory have its merits, to put it that way. But of course, it's not everything. Because that's only relevant to Russia, not relevant to the rest of the world per se. Okay, who rules the East Europe commands the heartlands? Okay, I have a strong conspiracy bias, I admit. What's your opinion about the conspiracy theory around 9/11 inside job? Yeah, I think 9/11 is an inside job. Unfortunately, I think that's the case. Astonishingly great description on geopolitics there, Commander. No drama at all. How in the hell do you keep such a claim? How come analysis? Yeah, because because okay, my view on geopolitics is simple. This life is shit. Everything is a pain and a struggle. And nothing is fair. It's all sad. So geopolitics is really sad. It's just full of things that is uncontrollable. The only way is you can manage it. That's why you need good foreign policies to manage your country. That's it. UK can never run away from this location next to EU, so they have to deal with it. The geopolitics between the UK and EU will forever be there. So it's just admitting. As long as you admit the realities, I think you'll be fine. So yeah, but I really love geopolitics because it's very predictable. It's very predictable. What game do you recommend? I haven't played Victoria 2, but I really want to play because I really have no time to play. Yeah, I saw this Montenegro already. And hug your wife. Wyatt. Yeah, later I will go and hug her. 500 viewers, only 300 likes. And then if we stop trading with China, we won't be able to live our rock and roll Western lifestyle. You won't be able to live your rock and roll Western lifestyle eventually too. Yeah. Yeah. I know, because I'm also buying so many Chinese goods because they are so cheap. They're really so cheap. But you see, there's a price to pay. There's a price to pay. Some things are never meant to be so cheap. So we are spending future money, man. Why Americans so set on Asian conquest post World War II? Why Korea? Why Vietnam? Why control the threat of communism? Yeah, it's just nobody know what is communism, and it's a Soviet Union thing. It's a Cold War, so it's not about land. It's just to make sure that you don't have a superpower that is like way more powerful than United States. What do you think about the Western intelligence saying both sides have close number of casualties? It is weird how the number isn't 1 to 3 in favor of Russia. The answer is I do not know. So that's why for analysis purpose, I always take it as 1 to 1. Put a shirt on in the thumbnail. Which one? Which thumbnail? What the hell, man? Future of the Chechens. Chechens will be doing very well in Russia. They will not become a frozen conflict like North Korea and South. Will not. Russia will end it. Autistic gaze for Putin. Then Toby, thank you so much, Toby. Love the Q&A. Do this every day, Ashraf. Oh my god, I don't think I have the energy to do every day. Mojo asked recommended strategy games. I would recommend Europa Universalis, but it's a bit buggy at times. But no, Europa Universalis is it's great to learn geopolitics. I love it, but there's a learning curve. USA can make everything ourselves. The only country in the world can able to do this. We don't need anyone. Yes, correct. Russia is the other one, actually, but Russia don't make everything yet. USA need to rebuild the manufacturing base to do that. So USA don't have the manufacturing base right now. The technology is there, the capability is there, but they need to rebuild the factories. So I read this already. So yeah, what else? Man, workout. Do you do push-up? My push-up is shit right now. I need to do more exercise. I'm getting fatter. No, if you look at the early videos, my face is not so round. Yeah, now my face is just freaking round. So no. Yeah. Never mind. Matsila, no sarcasm, Montenegro, blah 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 blah. No, sophisticated cavemen say what will it take to decolonize Europe from US? Guts. Unique guts. Because it takes a lot of guts to go against the United States. So it needs a lot of guts. Hungary is totally not towing the line. So there's a lot of guts in there, but there's a price to pay to go against the United States. Not everyone can pay the price. So that's another geopolitical reality. That's why we are seeing what we are seeing right now. You see the war in Ukraine, you see the West burning itself to the ground to support Ukraine, to support woke culture, because no one have the guts to go against the superpower. Unfortunately, sad truth. Do you think Wagner is better trained than Russian regular troops? Possibly. Wagner, but ultimately, I will still come back to the same point I mentioned before about morale. Just like morale, training doesn't make you bulletproof. You still die. If you're not going to be artillery shell proof. If a shell drop on you, you still die. So it doesn't make you invincible. It just increase your survivability. For example, your drills. If an artillery strike is hurt, what do you do? Where do you run to? If you got ambush, what do you do? How do you act? How do you attack? Where do you cover? Do you cover each other? How do you move? How do you communicate between units? These are the things that makes you a better troops. You are not bulletproof, you still die. Wagner still have so many people dying. So yeah, better troops, but you still will die. Morale is the same. Morale doesn't make you bulletproof as well. So for the pro-Ukrainian guys, you can say Ukraine have more morale, but morale doesn't protect you from landmines. You still step on the mine, you still die. Doesn't matter how much morale you have. So yeah, sad reality. Do you think it's possible for NATO countries like Hungary to join BRICS in the future? Yes. Not now. Eventually. What a fucking retarded thing to ask. Chinese colonies, for fuck's sake. Why not? What are you talking about? Oh, he jumps again. I live in Pennsylvania. You can see the factories if you look around. Yeah. So unless United States reindustrialize, yeah, I'm 10 minutes. I already overshot. The yeah. It's not about guts. It was about survival for Russia. I mean, for Russia is not a weak country per se. That's why they can go against the United States. But the rest of Europe is different. So it's only the big countries that actually can go against the United States, like France, UK, and Germany. But the thing is, do they have the guts to do it? Because it will put you into a totally different trajectory. You'll walk a path that you're not sure if that's a good idea, and you're going to have a lot of problems. Like I said, United States is not going to make your life easy. That's just how it is. Are you moving into the world of permanent war? I hope not. I'm not sure, but I hope not. Anyway, it's been 2 hours 40 minutes. Thank you guys for watching. Sorry for Putin giving such an underwhelming speech. It's not my fault, because the RT played it up and then end up is bullshit. So Peskov say that the speech is going to change so much things and whatnot. Then in the end, Putin just say something very bland, something so boring. So yeah, Peskov. Okay, thank you everyone. Thank you for all the super chats. I just want to thank again the super chats, which doesn't appear on my screen. What the hell? Let me see. It doesn't appear on my screen, so it's it appears. Okay, I want to thank Controlled Demolition, Logizen, Goodleaf, Mojo, Controlled Demolition again, Sophisticated Caveman. Thank you for the super chats. Hope you guys enjoy. On average around 500 of you guys. This Q&A and chit chat, and hope this is fun for you as well. Yeah, I will try to do this more often, maybe once a week, maybe once a week, to chit chat about things. Then maybe next time I'll talk about future of DPA, the future developments. I'm thinking a lot about the future of DPA and how to develop it further. So anyway, thank you for watching. I'm running out of voice, and I'll see you in the next update. I'm gonna do an outro. I think outro that you guys have not seen in a long time. Let me see. Wait. Okay. Thank you guys. Bye bye.
Defense Politics Asia is a Singapore.
Wrong. This.
Defense Politics Asia is a Singapore-based geopolitical and defense news media come think tank focusing on Asia from an Asian perspective. We try to provide insights on complicated issues and cast spotlights on underreported stories to give a voice to those that would otherwise not be heard. You can find out more geopolitical and military news, as well as in-depth opinions and analysis on www.defensepoliticsasia.com. To support our work, you can subscribe to our YouTube channel here, or you can become a patron on our Patreon at patreon.com/defensepoliticsasia and get access to exclusive content while be a part of the people that shapes the future of this unique platform. Please remember to press the like button and subscribe to our channel.